So it's getting to be that time to deal with the truth archive. And when you have a truth archive, when you have massive truth, and by the way, that's what you have to have. If you want to build a superior AI system, you have to have a truth archive. This means that you have people like Julie Su. Julie Su basically did all this stuff. It's mind-boggling. I have to deal with Republicans walking up to me and say, "Yeah, you're a Democrat. You're in a dirty deal there, man." She slung $31 billion, man, basically south of the border, so that she could attract a bunch of people to come into the country and then basically become California citizens or citizens of some nearby state, in which basically they would be granted the vote very quickly. So this is election rigging. Straight out. What is your position on election rigging? It says, well, I don't know what to tell you. I run a truth archive. So if I'm talking about the truth and Julie Su is the subject, the truth is she has committed massive amounts of crimes against humanity. This is the truth. She blacklisted. Part of her plan seemed to be, when you look at the carnage, part of her plan was basically blacklist people. She blacklisted petitioners. She blacklisted people that had worked for 5, 10, 15, even 20 years, and blacklisted them, making them lose their homes. I mean, crimes against humanity. There's no justification for what this woman's done. Mind-boggling. And I have to put it down. So as a Democrat, I have to put this up on the table and say, look, we have to have this woman arrested immediately. This woman has to go to prison. Because I'm not going to defend her and what she did. She's a criminal. She blacklisted me. She blacklisted a lot of people. She blacklisted archivers. She blacklisted other candidates. Attack upon a candidate's income is an act of war. Attack upon an archiver is a major offense. It's really major. Attack upon archives that leads to damage, she's responsible. National security is violated. Ooh, boom, 70 years. National security is violated, higher level death penalty. Rosenblums, beyond the Rosenblums. Artifacts. Artifacts older than the Constitution of the United States. Older. And she's responsible for causing the loss of these. She's responsible for causing the security problem. She's participated in rigging elections. She has 3 overlapping areas of the death penalty, and still no one's prosecuting her yet. It's amazing. People are asking this question, doing that investigation. They haven't gotten around to the big evidence. Because what she's just done to me as a candidate, as an archiver, death penalty, overlapping 3 different areas. To cover all the crimes that she did, we're going to have to open up an entire museum, the crimes of Julie Su. For the next 100 years. We're talking a massive facility, massive, to go through and look at all the crimes that she did. The horror of what she did to families' lives. Mind-boggling. Crimes against humanity. Mind-boggling. And then you have Shirley Weber. Shirley Weber right on board, aiding and abetting. You're a candidate, you say, hey, look, you complain verbally, in writing, you send papers for action this day. She doesn't respond. She doesn't investigate. She doesn't take, in other words, Shirley Weber will not take 5 minutes to call down to another area and say, look, here's this guy, candidate Michael Crosby. I want you to find his name on petitions Yeah, where he was certifying petitions. I just want to verify that. And then I want you to call up the EDD and talk with Julie Sue and ask why they're blacklisting him. Because this guy wants on the ballot and he says they're blacklisting him of all the money he's owed. 5 minutes. She couldn't make a 5-minute call to do an investigation. And as time goes on, does she know? Does Shirley Weber know? What did she get in memos? She knew there was a shutdown order. She knew there was a stay-at-home order. She knew there was all these other modifications of marketplace shutdown. No congregation, anti-congregations. All kinds of small businesses shut down. Auctions shut down. All the other 5 major types of business areas that are gig work that would occur with the nonprofit, all shut down. All shut down. And all of this, here's the thing, all of this as we're in an insurrection. So she's going to be in rebellion. And she's going to aid and abet Julie Sue to cover up the crimes. She's going to withhold proper money that's owed to me by the state when she knows it's owed to me. She's going to allow continued blacklisting against my income. So when I say, hey, look, the state owes me big bucks, got to the point it was 90,000. And then we started getting into more and more damage estimates on the archive. It got to the point where it was ridiculous. And the attorney says, no. They are responsible for all the damage. They blacklisted your income. They are responsible for all damage. The Constitution says they are responsible for the artifacts that got lost, for the stuff that was damaged and stolen, the computers, the research, the patents, the copyrights, everything. And you update these people and you try to communicate with these people, they will not communicate rationally. They won't do it. So they have to be arrested. We're going to have, here's another one. We're going to have to end up having an entire museum devoted to the crimes of Shirley Weber. I mean, Julie Sue, this is a no-brainer. You're going to have a museum the size of a super Walmart to be able to house all the material of all the crimes that Julie Sue did, all the people's lives, the horror of what she's done. Eventually, she's going to have to live in a box, and at some point in time, we're going to have to put her in an fMRI. There's pretty much no choice. When you got people, $31 billion, man, that's an inescapable mark point. There's way more to this story. I'm sitting here using three phones, can't get through for days, weeks, months. And then, there's no more money for regular people. We only have money available for people that are not citizens, that are not verifiable entities. What the heck is this? I mean, you're supposed to run out and become a criminal instantly? Go buy a bunch of burner phones? Go get a bunch of burner phones and phony addresses and just smoke it away? What is this? There's one thing, the whole point that Congress passed and says you got to pay all these people, and you're going to have some kind of a carte blanche system. It's easy as pie to get money to people fast. You can have them go down to recyclers if you can't process them. Go down to recyclers. It's like they're selling something, something that's over $100 that's copper or whatever. They have to take photographs. They have to give a fingerprint. They relay the money they relay the documents electronically to the state and the images. There's a 24 to 72 hour hold depending on how much money it is. It's over 1,000 at 72 hours. These people, they'd love it. They love it. You just get them, we'll give you $20 or maybe $50 to process one of these claims. Very simple. You take their fingerprint. If you got their fingerprint in a database, you can compare it. That means that nobody can basically sign up more than once because they're using their fingerprint, their left fingerprint. Use the left fingerprint. So, no, they don't think about this. They invent one contraption after another contraption, and they're all deliberately engineered. She cuts down the communication. She refuses to take communication. She basically lies in front of Congress and gets caught. Oh, I had lots of communication. I communicated with all these union members. Really, that's interesting. But she wouldn't communicate with other people. She wouldn't communicate with candidates. You know, she's basically violating continuity of government and continuity of elections. She's participating in rigging elections because she's blacklisting candidates. That's defined as an act of war. An act of war. It's treason, basically. You know, when you get through going through all the charges on it, it ends up becoming a death penalty item, right along with destroying archives, attacking archives and museum, death penalty. And, you know, we have these people, they're just sitting on their ass all over the place. You have people in the same buildings. How many of them do you think got on the phone with the Justice Department or the FBI and says, hey, there's a problem here? How many people did she hire deliberately to aid and abet? They said they had resource problems. They claimed they only had 4 people to review why people weren't getting their money. 4 people. Tens of billions of dollars being out, and there's only 4 people. You know, I ended up with footage of using computers, their substation computers, to do their applications. I put my name in it. Every computer would freeze up every time I put my name in it. You know, sat there and filmed it. Blatant blacklisting. Just incredible. Absolutely incredible. You know, and Congress ordered everyone to get paid. And you know, there's easy mechanisms to do that. You know, we're talking processing in hours. They had 70% of the normal people working out of like 30,000 or plus that would be doing things at the work opportunity type center places. 70% of them, they basically said, stay at home, lay them off. They were open. They basically had a 4-hour schedule per week of actual events and things that they had to do. You know, other than, you know, 1 or 2 management people that had to, you know, keep track of the dailies. You know, turn lights on, turn lights off, check for how much energy consumption, checked fridge, you know, whatever that was, you know. I mean, mind-boggling. You know, and each and every day, it just goes further and further and further. There's no statute of limitations. No such thing as statute of limitations. These people's action are all recorded in full 3D. SAR satellites are in vast numbers all over the West Coast, especially California. You have satellites, some of them were shooting 60 frames a second with a resolution that would see a blade of grass. You know, so you could catch multiple angles of people and end up basically getting 70 to 90% of their body. That basically means that everybody's recorded in full 3D. You, your car, your truck, whatever you got. The buildings, yeah, but not necessarily inside the buildings. There's a limit to penetrating, you know. A greenhouse, yeah, you can penetrate a greenhouse. That's plastic. Oh, yeah, you can penetrate that. You know, so there's some things, yeah, you can penetrate right through the clouds, no problem, you penetrate that. Boom. You know, there's different adjustments to do that. So, for all time, anything that has to do with positioning has been recorded. You know, so you got people that are claiming that they showed up places and then they were told they didn't show up. They go, how could you lie? Boom, recorded on SAR. Yeah, bang, you know. Absolutely amazing. You know, you have a system right now. There's so many people that were blacklisted and hurt right now, hurt financially, that it's illegal to impound or seize anybody's stuff because it's entrapment. It's entrapment. You have people that have their lives financially ruined. So to seize their vehicles is entrapment. to seize their house or whatever, entrapment. You know, all these people that lost homes, all these people that got kicked out of apartments. It's mind-boggling. All these people that lost their businesses, mind-boggling. You know, and then you get into the areas where you have archivers, bookstores. Mind-boggling how many bookstores were destroyed. Destroyed. It's only comparative to Nazi Germany, World War II. Mind-boggling. Mind-boggling to see what these people have done. You know, so I've got a thing out there, you know, that's on my deal, that at some point in time, anybody who's interested, definitely we're going to have a museum, the crimes of Julie Sue and the crimes of Shirley Weber. And then we've got the blacklisting and the dereliction of duty of Harris. You know, boy, she's a big prosecutor. You know, this woman is so dangerous, it's mind-boggling. I'm a Democrat. I'm running for president. And this woman is one of the most dangerous people in modern history because she stands with the other prosecutors that remove cold medicine off the shelf. They remove perfectly good cold medicine off the shelf that had been proven for like 70, 75 years. The extra spread pattern, because they took the good stuff off the shelf, which means the spread pattern dramatically increased. The frequency of sneezes and everything dramatically increased. You know, and because people didn't have a supply of the good stuff, you know, in their car, at their home, at their work, so that when they would feel symptoms start, they would, boop, do this. You know, you have to look at the population of the state. I did some statistics on it. It's mind-boggling. Spread pattern, over 9,000 extra deaths the first year code fed. 9,000! Plus it continued. More than 10,000 people. 10 to 13,000 people extra died in California because of no cold medicine. Now, the policy goes off nationwide. We're talking at least 50,000 people. How many people died in Vietnam? This is not a joke. This is not a game. How many people died in Vietnam? 68,000, 68 something? So they're going to keep this policy up again and again and again. So you got the first round, then you got the second year. I'd have to add it up. I think we're already actually there. We're there. So when you look at Kamala Harris, that is a woman who stood up with the prosecutors and supports prosecutors who grandstanded, saying, oh, look, these people are pulling these boxes of cold medicine and reprocessing and making some kind of bathtub dope or something like that. You know, research on it indicates it costs 800% more money to do it that way, and it's not economically viable to sell it on the street. It costs more to do that and make it than you can sell it for at street value. So in other words, this whole thing is a whole bunch of complete lunacy. They did a big, huge grandstanding thing over this. You know, oh, we're going to save 8 or 14 lives or whatever it was. A huge grandstanding thing. These people are all dead. Vietnam. 50 plus thousand people. Could be 80,000 people. Nationwide. And these people don't think like they did anything wrong. No science. No science understanding spread patterns in these people's brains. They stood up as grandstanding. They are so dangerous to your life, it's mind-boggling. Mind-boggling. You know, when I talk about things, I bring out solid things, really, really solid stuff, really provable stuff. And, you know, like the AIs I work with, my whole design is to move people forward in their lives, to basically give you back what colonials had in 1750. Average 12 to 14-year-old would build their own house in 2 to 6 months. Now they've turned everybody into wage slaves, and they've banned you from building your own home, building a roof over your head. Unless you're an Indian and doing a religious, there's certain people that have certain religious rights that have been granted, but it's ridiculous. It's so unconstitutional, it's mind-boggling. It's genocide. It's genocide. And there's no excuse for it whatsoever. So restoring, people lived 1750, 38 years of age. That's longevity. Well, if you were a slave, the closest statistics I would find readily were 1850. That was 28 to 33 years of age, depending on which region you lived in. Okay, today, 78-year longevity. So they expect you to work 45 plus years. So because equipment's better, we have electric hand tools now, hand saws, etc. So, here we've got the ability to make and parlay and use our productivity as the most basic carpenters. Most basic, just making our own 2-bedroom homes, just like the colonials did. Just like the colonial kids did, And so, single floor, no problem, Add some brackets. Yeah, let's do this and that. Earthquake proofing, piece of cake. Just click it up on YouTube. It's right there, man. It's right there. It's a piece of cake. It's easy as pie. If you need help, yeah, we can work out help. We'll get you help. So you can make it 70 cents on the dollar a retail. The government will print that 30% differential. So in your life for 45 years, the computations verified with AI are that your productivity is 480 houses. See, this is what my administration is going to do for you. It's going to restore your productivity at a level that's mind-boggling. And these people don't want it to happen. I mean, just look at all the elections. Look at all the elections for the past so many years. When is the last time you had, seriously, an election where the candidates really stuck out and were completely different than the other candidates, as in mind-boggling upgrade? Last time that happened would have been Roosevelt. This is mind-boggling. Just mind-boggling, So they don't want to do this. They sit down tactically engineering, saying, we're just going to be a little bit better than the other candidate. Why? Why are they constantly engineering elections as though they're squeaky? They're close. What happened? What's wrong with the candidate that steps up and says, look, I'm doing this. Boom, 70% of the vote. That's what I've designed my stuff for, 70 to 86% of the vote. But I keep coming under attack. Why do these people keep attacking archives, destroying books? Who are all these people? They're Democrats and Republicans. Democrats and Republicans. You go to the Democrats, hey, look, we need an income. We think these people doing the attacking might be Republicans. We don't care. Blacklisting. On and on and on. You catch them, hey, look, man, this ticket is completely erroneous. It's all BS. I'm a candidate. That's a minimum of 10 years, 10 to 70 years, federal penitentiary. We need to prosecute these people immediately. Harris's office, oh, no. We need this done, And they play these little games. You call back and forth, over these tickets and say, hey, look, this is all bullshit. This is all bull. Look, here, compare it to these other computers. Yeah, they don't match up on the other computer databases. Logs match up and everything. The FBI looks at this and says, hey, look, I'm looking at these databases. You're using a ticket that's not supposed to exist. They take it off the records. Trip on this. They take it off the records because I want to prosecute them, so they won't remove it completely. So it goes off the books, and then an analyst comes in and says, how come this is not active? Well, let's put it back on the computer. So here it comes again. This is deliberate. And these people flatly refuse to prosecute these people. They've attacked a candidate. They've attacked an archiver. I did a write-up one time. I says, here's the laws that they broke. And they're like, 480 years? Yeah, actually, I cut it down a bit. And these people are criminals. They're criminals. They don't want to prosecute people that are interfering with the process of elections. So how is Shirley Weber protecting the process of elections? How is anyone in her office protecting the process of elections? Where's their records for assisting candidates with protection, with investigations? The only thing they have, we have a voter intimidation investigation, we sub that out to local police. What happens when the local police are the problem? Oh, well, we never really thought about that. This is insanity. This is insanity. The Secretary of State is supposed to be able to formulate and put teams together and pull from whatever's needed. If she needs to call the governor's office and say, Governor, I need some extra people, maybe from the National Guard or whatever, to fill this up so we can go out and deal with insurrection and mass rebellion and figure out why people are attacking elections, whatever it is, she doesn't do it. She doesn't do it. Dereliction of duty. So what does she know? She consciously sees this paperwork. She sees this paperwork. She knows what's happening. She watches the news. She gets the memo. She knows about the lawsuits, all these successful lawsuits where California had to pay for blacklisting. And it's not over. It's not over. You know, how much longer can these people keep participating in genocide? Blacklisting at that level is genocide. It's a crime against humanity. It's the death penalty. The death penalty. Yet we have these leaders that just stand up, get up on the podium, and they're just going to talk their stuff. You know, say, wait a minute, these people did all this. Look, we've got all these people trying to protect evidence, but you blacklisted their income. They want to prosecute these other people that have committed violence. Oh, we don't care. They're going to keep blacklisting. So what are they doing? They're aiding and abetting. I was trying to get accurate statistics to see actually how many times they were aiding and abetting parties getting away with violent crime. Mind-boggling. Mind-boggling. You know, but you keep trying to work on statistics and computers get hit. People steal your documents. You know, I mean, all the casework, all these other cases, all these other lawsuits. Amazing. Mind-boggling. Mind-boggling. So the immediate arrest of these people is absolutely necessary. And I've already, you know, here's the thing, this is the interesting, I've already got a whole bunch of documents I put in Washington. They're just sitting there, boom, filed in the archive. All I have to do is drop one document that opens them up to members of the Senate or members of the Congress, and bang, that's it, the whole thing goes into play. Immediately, you know, it's like, who are these people? Who is Harris? Who's Julie Sue? Who's Shirley Weber? Look what they've done. California doesn't have any delegates. They're all seized. I'm gonna have to make a bunch of videos out there. I think I started one already, maybe 2 or 3, where I do disclosure and I talk. I have to talk to delegates and say, hi, delegates. Hi, young delegates. Look, this is the program. This is what I'm trying to do. I'm the candidate. By the way, this is what these other people have done. Every delegate has to know the crimes that these people have done. Because they're lying. They blacklisted. They've rigged elections. We're talking an entire state election because I was blacklisted as a gubernatorial candidate. The computers looked at the possible 18 mobile broadcast RB vehicles, and just 12 of them basically would have got me 1 million people a day. Gubernatorial election. I had about 200 websites that I was setting up. I mean, this is just amazing, and these people have to just keep lying to you. Oh yeah, we'll get you some money. You know, you talk with. Oh yeah, then they start to send you a little teeny tiny bit of money and say you're owed all this other money, and then you call them and say it's wrong. There's supposed to be another $38,000 on this. Well, we're only going to send you $9,000 something. That doesn't basically pay the phone bill. This is not going to work. You know, I've got phone bill, I got storage, I got all this other stuff. This isn't going to cover the mustard. You ordered everything shut down. You have to pay for everything. You know. And just my labor, we ended up going up to like 90 grand, you know, and that's what they were supposed to pay in the category. So then they renege and they pull the money back. So they have computers kicking off blacklisting, and you have to keep trying to refile again and again. They just keep blacklisting you and blacklisting you. and it's almost impossible to get somebody. I found one guy one time that helped me. Don't want to talk about him. He's a witness. The guy's actually kind of what I consider a witness. And it'd be nice if I could get back with that guy again. He'd understand a little bit, had some authority, except my phone's got attacked by cyber and wiped out. So again, I'm coming under cyber attacks. I'm coming under all these different types of attacks. The government are bosses. We got 1.4 billion attacks a day. Have we lost control of the cyber attack situation? The ball has been dropped. We have fumbled the ball. The government has fumbled the ball. It's mind-boggling. $10 trillion a year in damage. And they're not giving the death penalty. Mass economic sabotage is death penalty. They're not giving people death penalty. They're not finding these buildings. You got 100,000 servers in here doing cyber attacks. You're under arrest. And then, whoop, by the way, that's mass economic sabotage, death penalty. They're not doing this. You have all these people playing this so-called limited liability bullshit, and nobody's the reason that these people keep committing so many crimes is because nobody's being punished. Nobody's being punished for real crimes. And they'll go, "Oh yeah, we're gonna up crime. We're gonna up crime." And you read this and you go, "What is this? Is this garbage? Is this garbage? You're gonna up crime?" Yeah, that's the crime bill. You're gonna run around and increase penalties on people that are using $20 worth of dope. Give me a break. That's not a crime bill. We've got people stealing billions of dollars daily. When are you going to start arresting these people? We've got people blacklisting people, interfering, rigging elections. When is this going to happen? And we have the perfect device. The perfect device is called an fMRI lie detector. And there's a difference between willing witnesses and non-willing witnesses. A non-willing witness struggles. They're like, no, I don't want to tell what's in my brain, because you ask them questions and things will just key. They just snap. They just snap and key right out of people's brain. And then you can record them. And words, images, everything. And they've been used on serial killers and whatnot. And but the way you get around that is you give them pharmaceuticals, basically sodium pentothal equivalent. But we've got like 170 times more better since World War II. So it's just, by the way, a lot of this is considered standard calibration procedure. We're going to give you some pharmaceuticals and level your brain out. There's different modes. That's high-end research. I'll explain that some of the time. Might have been some other things that I did on the high-end research on the different mind modes. But, that's for interface stuff. But basically, you give these people a bunch of pharmaceuticals, and if they're still struggling and it's not working, you give them more pharmaceutical. Eventually, they're in la-la land, and they're just going to tell you all about it. They're not just going to tell you all about it. You're going to record it and see it in their head. You're going to end up getting images, partial images. You're going to get text constructs, word constructs. It's all going to be recorded. And this equipment is getting cheaper and better all the time. It's really expensive now for the most part, but it's going to get cheaper all the time. You got a lot of companies working on better systems. I had a system I worked with back in 98 to 2002, 3 in Arkansas at a lab, and I could get pretty good sensor reception on stuff from 20 plus feet away. Really good. It was really mind-boggling. But the equipment was enormously large, and I had to use all these different computers on interpretation. It was it needed a lot more work, so to speak. But yeah, you could do things. You could tap onto it. It could get you things that were very impressive. I did long-range quantum aperture conversions, all kinds of interesting things. But anyhow, move over. So the fMRI is kind of the perfect deal. If you're a willing witness, that's something completely different, because you're a willing witness. That means that you track smoothly. When you're telling the truth, other than you might get upset about being victimized, but when you're telling the truth, it's just really smooth. It's a completely different mindset. It's a completely different set of readings. So what happens is now that you have willing witnesses, you're taking an individual person and basically making their statements or portions of their statements definitive truth, types of definitive truth. So we have these perfect devices to deal with these people that are criminals, to get rid of them as fast as we can, to say, hey, look, like me, I'm a realist. I'm a Democrat, but I'm a realist. What we need to do with a lot of these people out there that we're seeing in the media here and there and when they're sick campers, man. Yeah, we need a team of psychiatrists. Put them in fMRIs for extended, repeated testing, and I do mean extended, repeated. And yeah, let's let the psychiatrists deal with these people because they're going to find some strange camper stuff with these people. No lie on that.